and I'm going to talk about a service. So and this has been a good thing for me to just show you the different things that you can do. And if you log in, like I said, you can click around and get a lot of the information, get access to it. So I'm going to talk about messages and something called Amazon Simple Notification Service. What that is that it's a service for sending messages, sending and also getting messages as well. All right, sending messages and getting messages back. And I'm gonna try something else too. Um, Let me see if I can actually, yeah, might be able to show you something in Gmail. So, yeah, I'm gonna show you something, and okay, yeah, so I can show you the email. There's nothing. It's just the email that I use for everything that we do here. So I use that. I use that same email for the YouTube channel. Okay, so I want to use this example. So you notice here the letters are SNS. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So it might be maybe a little bit easier to see. All right. So SNS, right? And I'm on the same website again with all the examples and the people. So we have David Souther, who's somebody who's on this project, and David's in Seattle, so he's in the West, and he's a programmer. So he does a lot of the things that we're talking about. So let's take a quick look at David's resume. So this is a guy who works on this project. So a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy at all. But he does work for AWS right here. He's out of Seattle, and I'm just using that as an example. Just like I said, there are real people who are connected to what I'm talking about. So it's not just a just me just talking. So like I said, you can reach out to some of these people if you're doing some work on the web. You can ask them some questions. Sometimes you can ask people questions. If you got a good question, they'll answer you. A lot of times people answer you. And this shows how much work he's done since February over a year. So if you look at this, this is a calendar: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, February, November. And every place that you see blank, that means he didn't do anything there. Wherever you see green, that means that he did something. If you see dark green, you're gonna see that means he did a lot. And the color, yeah, see, so it says here less, more. So the darker the color, the more that was done. So this is a way that people sometimes use to see how people are contributing, what they're doing, et cetera, and so forth. So I have that in my own system. So I have a system that does the same thing. It shows me so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then February to November. So like for the past year, for the past year. So going from February of last year to as far as February of this year, right? 2023 to 2024, what everybody did. So like 1,016. So this person made 1,016 changes, at least, maybe more in another system, but at least for this particular place, 1,016. I think overall. So yes, I just want to show that. Like I said, this is real people doing real work, and what we're going to do is get access to some of what they're doing. So what I want to do is, oh, why does it always show this weird stuff? I'm going to show You know, so like I said, you have Amazon Simple Notification Service, and you have sorry, it's just here. Yeah, SN. Let me close this. And something else we might look at, Secret Manager, but SNS, which is just a way to send messages. So I'm going to use this to send a message. See if I can use it to send a message to Gmail. I'm going to use this system to send a message in Gmail. So you can go through here. So this one, yeah, and like everything else, it might cost some money, right? So I'm going to run these commands the way they have it here. So you can see, I'm going to read the instructions the way they did. And like I said, it's very complicated, but if you're watching the video, you can click on the same links and then see what I'm talking about. And that's why the videos are important. So yeah, let me do. I want to go to where I put it last time. It's not go to. Yep. All right, I want to go here. So you see where it says AWS stock SDK examples. I want to go to here. I'm going to go to the same place. All right. And I want to go to Python. All right. I want to go to example code and then SNS. All right. So I'm going to match on my computer at home. I'm going to match. So examples, Python, example, SNS, example, Python, example, SNS. So I'm going to match what they say online. So I want to run this example. So what I do? I'm going to copy this. I just copy like this. And then I'm going to run this command. I'm just going to run it. I'm going to do exactly what they said to do. They said to do this. I'm going to do that. All right. Let's see. All right. So nothing in red. Remember what I said about red. It doesn't mean that there's always a problem, but it's something to pay attention to. Most of the time, it's going to be a problem. Right now, everything looks like it's in white. So no red, there's no yellow. Green is good. Usually green is pretty good. But because everything is the same, there's no error message. I don't see any error messages. I think everything's fine, right? So now I want to use some of these examples. So I'm going to use Amazon Simple Notification Service, and I want to describe two words. You're going to see this word pub and sub. You can say, well, what does that mean? What does pub and sub mean? Every single message, so you have pub, and that's short for publish. You have sub, that's short for subscribe. Very simple, right? So publish, like a newspaper or a magazine, and same thing with a subscription. You can say, hey, send me a magazine every month. You can do that. The other interesting thing about subscriptions is that you have subscriptions to services. Like you might have a subscription to um, like Netflix or something like that. You might have a subscription to Netflix or Game Pass or something that you can get online that you get every month or every 2 weeks. So that's all it means. So two words: publish means that you want to send some information out there. Subscribe means you want information that comes to you. So if you publish an email, what does that mean? It means that you send an email out to a bunch of people. Okay. If you subscribe, what does that mean? That means that you're going to get some information or get something from a lot of people. So that's all I want to show for this. I want to send messages. I want to be able to receive messages. I want to send message. I want to receive. So same way you use text message, same way you use Snapchat, same way you use WhatsApp. This is a system to send messages. All right. So that's all it is. I want you to get that as a understanding of what, if you say, okay, I don't understand anything else, but I understand that, that's what it is. And the reason why that's important is everybody uses, you can't always talk, right? For a whole bunch of reasons, you can't always talk. You have to send a message because you just don't have you got to do something else. So this is why it's important. It seems very basic, but the thing about messages too, you have to guarantee that it's going to get there. That's the other thing about messages. So if someone sends you a text message, they have to keep trying to send it to you until you actually show that you've got it, right? It's gonna try for like 24 hours, and then if the message can't be received in 24 hours, then you get a message back that says, hey, we couldn't send that message. So that's the other important part of messages. So they're short, right? Sometimes people write long text messages, sometimes, or long emails, but a lot of times it's gonna be short, like call me, or I'm on my way, or something very, very basic like that. But it's important because it's something that everybody depends on. More people send messages than actually talk to each other, mostly. So that's why I just want to show. I just want to show a simple messaging and something else. So how you use AWS to send messages, right? So I'm going to use my Gmail account for this service. I'm going to use the Gmail account and to send a message. So right now, I don't have anything, it's just a bunch of stuff about AWS. That's all I have in my inbox right now. So, but let's say I want to send messages, right? So I'm going to talk about that in just different ways people can look at messages. So remember what I said: publish, subscribe. Let me put that in the chat. And like I said, that's really all you have to, the concept, that's all you have to understand. I'll go walk through some of the other details, but publish and subscribe. You send a message, you receive a message. It's something that's used all across the world, like billions. So for example, like WhatsApp, people use WhatsApp. They might send like like a billion messages, not a day, maybe. Let's look that up. Actually, let me look that up. I'm curious. Let's look that up. Let's find out. How many messages does WhatsApp? How many messages? How many WhatsApp messages are sent per day? All right. So let's look at this. So here's a question: how many WhatsApp messages are sent every day? All right. So every day 140 billion messages. That's what they're. So 140 billion messages. So there are about 8 billion people on the planet, right? I'm just gonna make it up, make this up. About 8 billion people on the planet. So what that means is about every day somebody sends 17.5, if my math is right, 17.5 messages. So almost 18 messages so sent by everybody every day, right? So everybody on the planet, which is not true because babies don't send messages, but you get what I'm saying. So maybe it might be if we split it up, so maybe like people are sending 70, on average 70 messages are sent per day on WhatsApp, which okay, which is okay, right? Which is, but my point is that's a lot of messages. That's a lot of messages. And then you have text, and you have Snapchat, and then you have all these other messages. So you can build your own WhatsApp on AWS. You could definitely do it. It wouldn't be cheap, but you can definitely do it. So I'm going to run this other example. So those type of services, those things, they use something like this. This is what they use. So WhatsApp has their own service, but it works very similar to this. Very similar. It's not exactly the same. It might be at least 70%, or at least, or if not 70%, then 80% the same type of functionality, the same type of behavior. So I want to use another example because I just want to show sending messages through through AWS. So for example, if I wanted to, I'm going to use this example. Might be better for me to do it visually. So let me create a topic. So I'm going to call this someplace I want to send messages. So let's say ASL test topic. So, and then you have like different rules, right? So I want to do something simple, but so this one could be there's like everything, there's a cost. So if I want to send a message, and it's like if you're sending a mail, right? You have regular mail, you have first class mail. So if you want to send something to the mail, you can just say, okay, I'm gonna send to the mail, and it'll just be, let's say $5. Let's say $5. But if I want to put special services on it, it might be $10, for example. So you might take the cheap way, or you might take the expensive way. So let's see. Let me try this one. And I'm going to leave everything the same. I don't need anything else. So here's a place I can send messages. All right. So here's a place I can put messages. And here's the other thing I'm saying, create a subscription, right? So I'm going to create a subscription, meaning I want to receive messages. So email, I want to email subscription. So now I'm going to go back over, do that again. I'm going to do that again just so you kind of understand what I'm talking about. So second, not 1 second, but bear with me. All right. All right. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to create a topic. I'll give it the same name. I'm going to create a topic. I'm going to use standard, which should be cheaper. Publishes, second. Best effort. Yeah, so this is the cheaper one. So imagine if you're sending a package If you're sending a package, this could be a very basic way of sending it. This is going to be more expensive. Just using that as an example. So this one, yes, this one, and this other stuff, I'm going to leave it. So I just want to send messages. That's all I want to do. Right. So now I want to use AWS to do it. This SNS service I'm talking about. So let me go here. Let me go to my email. And let me show the other side of it. So now I want to create a subscription. Right. And I want to use email. Like I said, email. I could use other ones like SMS, right? But I don't have a phone number for this one. But I could use email. I can do a few things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's really the same thing. But yeah, let's see what this one. Okay. So I'm going to do email. That's easy. I'm going to create a place where I could send my email messages. So let me get my email for this. The email here is, hold up a sec, let me make sure I don't have anything else. All right, cool. That's easy enough. All right, that's perfect. All right, so this is my email. So I'm going to say I want an email where I can just send messages. I want to send messages to email. All right, so now it says, you see this in green? It says I created a subscription for this email in AWS. So now I got to go back to Gmail. And some of you do this yourselves, like you have to do this on your own systems. All right, so it says subscription confirmation. So say like, yes, I do want to confirm this subscription. All right, so it says successful. Okay, so now if I go back to AWS, it says here, it said pending. I just said, yes, I do want to get a subscription. Now it says confirmed. So again, like green doesn't always mean good sometimes, but 90% of the time, if you see green on a message, it means something good happened. All right. So now let me go back here. All right. So now the other part of it is now I have a topic, right, where I want to send messages. I just want to send messages. So this is what I was talking about before, publish. Right. So there are two parts, publish and subscribe. So I already did this part. Right. I already did that. I did the subscription. Now I want to do a publish. So now, yeah, publish a message. So let me see. So now I'm going to say, hello, team. This message is to the team. And then publish message. So what I did is I said there are two parts, publish, subscribe. I created a subscription already. The subscription was this. I got a subscription. See, you see here it says you have successfully subscribed. All right. Now the other part of it is now I want to send a message. I actually want to send something. So I have a subject, hello team, hi, this message is to the team, and then I do publish message. Let's see if this works. All right. Now, again, some more good green. Green is not perfect, but this is encouraging. It says message published to topic. So that means if I go to my inbox, to my email, I should see the message. So let's take a look and see if I see the message that I wanted. See. All right, so there it is. So now, hi, this is a message to the team. I sent the email using AWS, and I just want to show you, like, just basically, that's what it is. So if I want to send a message to a bunch of people automatically, this is one way to do it. So I can add more than one email. So right now I just have one, but I could add, like, 100 email addresses. And that's how a lot of times how people do it. They'll have something like this if they want to send a bunch of messages to people. They'll do something like that. And the good thing about it is that it makes things kind of simple, and they can send the messages out pretty easily. So that's the way. If you do it this way, if you do it through the website. The other thing is like cost. Let's see if I can. That's the other thing I want to show. Let me go here. I'm going to go to pricing. All right. So let's go here. So if you send, let's say like email. So I can send 1,000 messages for nothing, 1,000. So that's free if I just do email. So after 1,000, it's going to cost me $2 for 100,000 messages. Well, which is, for 100,000, so like $1 for 50,000, and if you have less than that, then they probably don't charge you anything. So $2. So this is the money part. $2 for 100,000 notifications. So 100,000 messages sent out to, let's say, 100,000 people. So you have 100,000 people. You want to send all of them one message. Then it's going to cost you $2. So that's more or less what that means. You have 100,000 people. You send them one message. That's going to cost you $2, which is not bad. But you also have to. Now, remember what I said before. Like something like WhatsApp. How many messages? How many messages? WhatsApp. Whatever. Okay. Oh, I went to Google. That's why. Yeah. So remember, so it was like 140 billion messages, right? 140 billion, $2, right? So let's see. I wonder how much would it cost for me to send 140 billion messages? Let's do the math. So let's do some basic math here. So like I said, I just want to show you the people, the money. Whoops. Where is my? So, all right, try it again. Oh, it won't let me move it here. All right. All right. So this somewhere else. All right. So 140 billion. All right. And I say that for the cost was, I think, all right, $2 per 100,000. All right. So let's divide this by 100,000. Whoops. All right. So 1,400. So $2 per 100,000. That's 1,400. So I'm going to multiply that by 2. That's not bad. So it'll cost you 2,000. Well, I shouldn't say that. So it's going to cost you 2,800 dollars per day if you want to send that many messages. So I'm using it as an example. This is not a perfect example. Clearly, it's not a perfect one. But I just want to use it as an example. So 2,800 messages. That's like, so let's say that, like, that's how much it costs to send messages to WhatsApp per year. That's 365 days a year. So it costs $1 million to send messages to WhatsApp, all the WhatsApp messages per year. All right. Not a perfect math. It's actually going to end up being a lot less than that. It might end up being like 300,000. So it's not the most expensive thing on the world. If you're a big company, it's not the most expensive thing. That's not the most expensive part of WhatsApp. It's probably very cheap. On WhatsApp, it's going to cost a lot less. But I'm just using that as an example of a service and how people calculate cost. So I just did a basic example of sending a message to WhatsApp, or excuse me, Amazon SNS. And the point of this is that SNS, you use it to send messages. There's so many different options for sending messages. You can do it based on how much space it takes up instead of the actual how many. You can send it different places worldwide if you want to send SMS to every place in the world, like to Haiti, to Brazil, any place you want to go. If you want to send it to Spain, you have all these different options that you can use to send messages. The other thing that I want to say is it's a service that is pretty simple to understand it. Sending a message is very basic. Everybody here is sending text messages, WhatsApp. Everybody's, doing email. So everybody understands messaging. But this is one service, like if you want to set it up to start sending messages out to people, people you work with, people school, government, wherever, it's one service that you could use. So maybe use it for business. So you have a subscription that you create for, go back here, topic. Did I delete it? No. No, I did not. Here. All right, yeah. So I'm still with my topics, and this is a picture too. So this is a kind of a decent picture. So I'm at here my computer, right? I connect to Amazon SNS here. So this is, say you're at home, you're on the beach, doesn't matter. You're at work, you're at church. You connect to Amazon SNS the way that we're connected here. I want to send a message to a topic, which is what I did. So I'm going to actually copy this message so I can send it to. It's actually a good picture. Oh nope, that's not what I wanted. All right, so I'm gonna put this picture up. All right, so this is a picture. Let me zoom in a bit. That big. All right, so that's a good picture. So this is, yeah, this is publisher, Amazon SNS. You send it to the topic and you go to the email. So everybody here I know understands email and everybody understands text. So this is one way for you to send your messages out if you want to send a whole bunch. The other part of what I want to talk about for this one, so this is how you do it with the visual. So what I want to do is actually I'm going to show it using the other service. I'm going to show it using Python, and we can get through that example. So it's 10:48 right now. Let me step out. I'll be back at 11. So I'm going to stop the video here, and then we can come back at 11 and then continue. So I'm going to continue with this example here, but it's still SNS. Like I said before, you can log in and just look at how you create topics and see the different options on it. So, all right, so it's 10:48. I'll be back at 11.
Okay, thank you.
You. All right, I am back. And I was still recording. So where I was, somebody's waiting on me. All right. So that's all I wanted to show on this side. Published. And there are a few other things that you can do with it. You can control what messages go out. So I just sent out a message and that was it. But you can also, put some controls on it if you want certain messages not to go out if they have certain words on them. The other thing is just like the mail that I post. I don't know what you call that in Haiti, but the mail, if you can't reach somebody, there's a place that you put mail so that someone can come pick it up later on. So it's the same concept. So whatever concept you have of mail, that's the concept that's happening here. So I'm going to put this message in the chat as well so that it's a little bit clearer on what's happening. The other side of what I want to show is so I'll send this message. The other one I want to show was let's see, where's my screen? Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Where is it?
Yes, I
Okay,
do.
thank you. Yeah, something's freezing on my computer. All right, I'll ignore it. So I'll go back to, I'm going to close this. Send it to chat. All right, so looked at that. I do want to run this example though. So I'm going to show this example. So let me ask, was that clear? Was that clear what I'm talking about?
Uh, According to what I understand, you were
Excuse me?
showing how to create a public info topic, right? And
Excuse me?
also in Amazon. Are you listening?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So according to what I understand, you were showing how to create a public info, no, people
No,
topic.
I couldn't hear you. The audio went
Uh,
out. Excuse me for that. You said,
and also how to create an Amazon extract explorer application. But the questions I have about that, uh, and what exactly in AWS I can get access to create those stuff.
oh, could you say that? Could you say that again?
So I want to know where exactly I have to go in AWS services and
Sure.
AWS just to create.
So if you go to SNS, so if you type the letters SNS,
Okay.
so SNS, right? So SNS
SNS.
stands for Simple Notification Service.
Okay.
Right? So that's where you would go. And it's been around for a long time. It's been around for 15 years, maybe more, maybe much longer. I looked that up. I'm curious.
You're running an SNS. Mhm.
I am curious. How long has it been around? All right, so 2010. It came out in 2010. So it's been around. It's one of the oldest ones. It's been around for a long time. So if you want to study it, if you want to look into it, there's a lot of information.
Okay.
So I want to show. I did it one way. I want to show it a different way. So take a look there. Let's try this out. So I want to run this one. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So I want to run this one. Let's see what happens. I want to run this file. So this one's very complicated, but it's gonna do the same, some of the same stuff I'm talking about. But so you notice how when I had to show you here, I'm gonna do this again. Like, so let's say you ask, like, how do I get this? So let's say you type SNS, right? You go here, you type SNS. All right. And then you say, okay, I want to create a topic. Okay. So that's 2 screens. So I'm gonna give it a new name. Let's call it 2. So that's 2 steps, right? So now that's 2. You did basically 2 steps. And then you say, I want to create a subscription, and I want to use email. Same thing I showed before, same thing. Let me go back to email. What's the email for this? So I just want to show this real quick so that, where is my email address? So I just got too many screens. All right, so that's my email. All right. Raise description. All right. And I want to send a message. All right, so I think that's 3 screens so far. So to go back to email. This over again. Oops. Go back to email here. I want to confirm. Yes. Confirm. Okay. Yes, I want to receive messages. Now I'm going to send myself another message. So this says pending. So this is going to change. All right. So now this is green. Good. So now I want to send a message. Got 2 topics. I want to publish a message. Hello again. All right. So this, if you practice it, you do it like in less than 5 minutes. Hello again. I send this message and I go to Gmail. A lot of you use Gmail. A lot of people use Gmail. And then hello again, right? So that took less than 5 minutes, right? That took less than 5 minutes. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's not the hardest thing in the world. It's not too easy, it's not too hard. It's 5 steps to do something like that. So now that's if you do it this way. If you just click on, and like I say, if you watch the video, you'll see exactly what I did. 2 topics, I created 2 of them, and then I send them both to myself. That's all it is. So I went here, I created this, I sent a message. Right. So now the other side of what I want to do is this one's a little bit harder. This one's actually, but not impossible. I want to do this a different way. I don't want to do this like this again. I don't want to do it like this. I want to do it the way that's going to make me a lot of money. So I'm going to run this program. I want you to watch the way I do this. So if you watch the videos, like the videos, I show you exactly what I do. So I want to run this one right here. And Megan, son, you're a PC person, so you'll understand some of the things I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I have a file here, which is this one right here, and I want to run it. So let's see what happens. I might have to change some things. No, it's going to ask me for a phone number. All right, so let me use the email address. Okay, so cool. So this is what I want. So phone number I can't use here, but I can use the email address. So what's my email address? I use this email address. Right. So this is so I'm doing here the same thing I did in the other window. All right, so now I'm gonna get another one. Should be another one. All right. So now I say again, I want to confirm, make sure this is, yeah, this is one I just sent. Yep. All right. And then, all right. So now all that, all right. So this is, I ran this one file and it did all this. So it basically did the same thing. So it just sent me a message. To Gmail. I'm going to delete some of this because otherwise stuff gets hard to read. I'm going to delete this. But what happened? So it's okay. You say, well, what did you just do differently? Remember, I always say, I say this a lot. There are different ways to do the same thing. You can go to the website, which I've shown before, or you can go to here, or you can do it the way I'm doing it. I just did it right there, where you can do it this way, which is one way to do it, or you can do it this other way. All right. Where you don't go to the website, you do everything on a command line, basically everything. So here, what it did is it let me send a phone number, or I can send a message to an email. I don't have a phone number to use here, so I just used a phone number, which is good enough. That's a basic example. Well, not basic. It gets complicated. I want to use another example here. And it's like in a lot of this other stuff too, you can run it in a Cloud Shell. I'm choosing to do it here. But if I did it in Cloud Shell, it would be the same thing. I just want to run it and see what happens. If we have problems, I don't expect us to have problems. So let me run this again. This is the second one. So the first one was this one here. And the second one was this one here. So let me run this program again. Topic. All right, so this time I'm gonna go here. So this says 2, topics 2. I ran a command, so now it says 3. So I just created a new one. You didn't see me go to the window here. I did it all at this part right here. So now I just created this one. So this is a more expensive one. This one's cheap. This one's pretty expensive. Well, not, not super, super expensive, but expensive enough. And I want to send a message. So let me send a message. Press enter to publish message. All right, so now send a message. So let me go. Turn up a few things here. Just send a message to the other one. So where did it drop this? So this one. All right, let's see if I can remember where I put this. So right here, descriptions, and where did it drop this thing? Oh, okay. All right, yes, that's where I put it. Okay. All right. Yeah, this one was a lot more complicated example, but what I want to show with this is that what I want to show with this is basically there are two ways of doing it. I could go through all this here, or I could use the files that I talked about before, these files, like this one right here, and it'll do, and this guy wrote it. I didn't write it, this guy wrote it, and it'll create everything for me. So there are like two different ways of doing anything. So one way is going to be more complicated than the other. So this is not easy to read, but everything is here. There's no secrets here. And let me delete, because it's going to cost, maybe cost a penny. So now it's going to delete everything. So the other thing I want to do is I want to delete everything I created. So this should be gone. So actually, if I go back here, it's going to be gone. If I hit refresh. All right, exactly. So 0, which means I'm not being charged for anything. Let's see. Yes. Go here. I'm going to delete. I'm going to destroy everything I created. It's just a good idea. So the difference is that with this, I only get charged if I send 100,000 messages. I only get charged if I send 100,000 messages. If I don't get charged anything, but it's always a good idea to clean up anything you've done. So right now I have 0 subscriptions, 0 here. I'm going to delete these two. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to type this, delete me. I said this, so like I said, this is being recorded. So if you watch the recording, you can see what I'm talking about. I want to delete this. And I want to delete this one too. It doesn't cost me anything, but it's a good idea since I'm not using it to delete anything that I'm not using. It's always the best thing. And the other thing is, like, even if it doesn't cost you anything, as far as money, it's not, you just get a lot of junk. So right now I have nothing. I have no junk. This is 0, 0, and 0. So now I can use I want to Let's see, I don't want to change anything. Yeah, so this one, yeah, this I don't have to change this one. This one I don't have to run. I'm going to this one. Yeah, this one I don't have to change this. So yeah, this I don't have to run. So these two examples. So for these two examples, all I wanted to show was how to send a message. That's it. So either an email message or a text message, and I wanted to send it to a whole bunch of people. So this is another project. So this person, Rachel Hagermine, probably Hagermine. She worked on this project here. She worked on this, so she did this. So one day this could be you. Your picture and your name could be in an example of putting code out there. So I want to so are there any questions? So could somebody explain like what I'm describing? Is there somebody who could repeat and explain what I'm describing?
Yeah. eh, Yeah. You say that what you came from to explain and create. So it is how you can send a public message. Or how you can get subscriptions, something like that.
Yes.
And yeah, and then you said after you finish, if you're not going to use what you have created, you have to delete it. Even though there is, for example, if you're gonna pay, you're gonna be paying if you say like another 100 messages. If not, you're not paying any. But anyway, it is more important to delete what you're not using. So,
Could you say it again? I didn't hear the last part of what you said.
yeah, you said the thing that you have created in the DNS. It's important just to send a public message and to get subscriptions, right?
Yes.
Or to get to send emails to the public, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And you were showing where we can create them. There is a difficult way to create. There is a easy way to create them. But you say I can go to DNS if I want to create one like that. And you say that if you send 100 messages, you're gonna be paying. But if you send less, you don't have to pay.
Exactly.
But after you finish using those service, it is important just to delete them, not to pay for them. If you don't want to pay for them, even though it's not cost, even though it doesn't cost anything, but it's more important to delete them.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's perfect. That's pretty much what I wanted to show. What I wanted to show today. But yeah, that's basically it. So like I said, it is simple. Like so, for example, if you look at the video, you can everything I showed for this, from your computer to this, if you do it the same way I did it, it takes you less than 5 minutes. Right? It takes less than 5 minutes. But sometimes you don't want to spend all day typing or clicking here and clicking there. Uh, yeah, you can send text messages. So this is for mobile. So I'm focused on email because it's easy. But you can also use text messages, and sometimes, yeah, people prefer to do that. But well, yeah, what I wanted to show was all right, that's interesting. Let me see, why is that here?
Mr. Fritz, I have a question.
Sure.
Um, does message does them work like for example you're working in like a phone company,
Yes.
Uh, how do they say that? I don't really remember. But for example, you want to send message to people that using your service, right?
Yes.
It is exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
So for
that's
example,
what I'm describing. Yes.
GSL, GSL. Sometimes you receive GSL messages like telling you something that you should know
Yes.
or warning you about something.
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
That's one way to do it. This is one way to do it. For like, emergency, everybody needs to know. So that's one way to do it. And like I said, you could do it yourself. It's not something that's it's and if you send like less than 100,000 messages, it's gonna be like $2. So you can send a message to everybody in your area for less than $2.
okay.
Yeah. So that's the does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you get those type of messages, those are the type of systems that they're using. And there are a lot of different options. So probably the one closest to you is I have to look this up. For me, I think Brazil is probably the one closest to you. But it's still basically the same price. And if you do mobile, so if it's mobile, it's 50 cents. You can send 1 million messages for like 50 cents, which is which is crazy. That's actually crazy. You could do that. And there are a whole bunch of other types of ways. So I mentioned email and I mentioned SMS, like phone messages, but there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, really 8, but practically 6 or 8, rather, but in a practical sense 6, because this is the same and this is the same, even though it splits up into 2 parts, the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ways to send messages. And this one I think is, let me look at this one right here. This is one per million. This is per million, 50 cents. So this one, hold on, let me look at this. So this one's the cheapest one out of all of them. This one right here. So 34 cents per million. This is the cheapest one. So yeah, like I said, you can look at this and you can see the different ways that they charge. Sometimes they charge on how much, not the number of messages, but how much space it takes up. So, uh, 11 cents per gigabyte, which is, I mean, like I said, it's pretty good. So yeah, it's used by people who do this all the time and who need it, who need these type of messages. But it's not something that's going to be so expensive for what you're trying to do. So if you have like less than 1,000 people that you're trying to send messages to, um, that should be like good enough. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to show today. I don't need to edit the video this time, so I'm going to upload the video this afternoon. Probably do within an hour. But were there any other questions?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't know for the other student.
Is Yeah, so I'm gonna send two. I sent the link for I think I did in the WhatsApp for the 2 videos. I just want people to watch before the end of the last lesson. And then if you watch this one I just sent, you'll see exactly how SNS works and how you can use it in like the 2 different ways. The simple way, um, no, not easy, but simpler way of using it. And then the very complicated way of doing it. They both do the same thing, but one gives you more control and you can use it in other systems. The other one is like, pretty basic. Like I said, you saw me click around and doing it, but this, like, to do this stuff, that's why I always say like this is, this really is the stuff that you should look at to basics. Let's see, this is 384 lines. This one's going to be long. Oh, this one's shorter. All right, 264, but still a lot of information to capture. So yeah, so that's all I had. Were there any other questions?
You say that the other two videos that you have in the YouTube channel.
Yeah, they're in the WhatsApp channel. I'll double check my phone, but they should be in the WhatsApp channel.
Okay, so we're gonna try to see them because you say there is more information about how to do it.
And then, like I said, this would be a good video to go ahead.
Those two videos say it's about using SNS.
So this one, I'm going to send the SNS one. I'm going to send that one today. Let me actually stop recording now so I can start. I'm gonna upload it today because I don't have to edit it. I don't have to make any changes. So let me stop recording.